She once told me, "You're too sensitive." At the time, I thought she meant it lovingly. A joke, maybe. But I later realized it was her way of saying, "You feel too deeply for someone who doesn't care enough." Her name was Alina. She was my everything, my light, my peace, my future. Or so I thought. We met in the most ordinary way. A college event, a random conversation, and suddenly she became the center of my world. Her laughter was addictive, her presence warm, and when she looked at me, I swore I saw forever in her eyes, but love real. Love isn't about seeing forever. It's about surviving the moments when forever starts to fade. And she, COULDN, single quotes T. I remember the night it all cracked. Had an argument, small, stupid. I don't even remember what it was about, but I remember crying. Not because of the fight itself, but because I could feel her slipping away. She looked at me, tears in my eyes, heart in my hands, and she laughed. Actually laughed. Not out of cruelty, but out of disbelief. "You're crying? Seriously?" she said, shaking her head. "You're too emotional. It's not that deep." But it was. For me, it was everything. That night, she walked out while I sat there, tears streaming down my face. And for a long time after that, I blamed myself. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I loved too much, but then she left, really left. And the silence she left behind was louder than any laughter she'd ever had. At first, I tried to move on. Failed miserably. Everywhere I went, something reminded me of her, the places we'd been, the songs she loved, the texts I couldn't delete. I cried again and again. But this time, no one saw. No one laughed. Pain became my secret. My motivation. I started working out, mostly to drown the noise in my head. Then I threw myself into work, long hours, sleepless nights. Anything that kept me moving. The world saw the glow up, new body, new style, new confidence, but only I knew what it had cost. I built myself from the ground up, using heartbreak as the foundation. Every rep at the gym, every late night project, every silent prayer, it all came from that same moment when she laughed while I cried. And then slowly, life shifted. The pain became purpose. The tears became strength. And the boy who once begged for her to stay became the man she would one day wish she never left. That day came sooner than I expected. Almost a year later, she texted me out of nowhere, "Hey, I saw your interview. You're doing amazing. I'm proud of you." I stared at the message for a long time before replying, "Thank you." That's all I said. A few days later, she called. I didn't pick up. Then she called again. This time I answered, not because I wanted to talk, but because I wanted to listen. Her voice was shaky. "I miss you," she said. I didn't reply. "I was stupid," she continued. I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. There it was, the moment karma finally turned the tables. She told me how her new relationship had fallen apart. How the man she thought was strong was actually selfish, cold, and unkind. How he never listened, never cared. "He never looked at me the way you did," she said softly. "He never cried for me." That line hit me, not with sadness, but with clarity. I realized she didn't regret losing me. She regretted losing the version of love that only I could give, and I had outgrown that version. "I'm happy you're doing well," I told her calmly. "I just hope you find peace." She started crying, really crying, the way I once did, but this time, I didn't reach out to comfort her because I finally understood not everyone deserves the softness you once offered. She laughed when I cried. Now she cries alone, not because I wished it, but because that's how life balances things out. Now, years later, I look back and realize her laughter didn't break me. It built me. It taught me that real strength isn't about hiding your feelings. It's about standing back up after the world calls you weak for having them dot. It taught me that people who mock your pain often end up meeting their own just later, when no one's there to hold them. And it taught me that the loudest revenge isn't anger or success or pride dot. It's peace dot pure, uncheckable peace. Sometimes I still think about that night, her laughter echoing as I wiped my tears. But now, when I remember it, I don't feel pain anymore. I feel gratitude, because that night didn't break me. It rebirthed me. And somewhere, in her quiet apartment, scrolling through my photos, watching me smile without her, she finally understands the pain she once laughed at. But the difference is, this time I'm not crying. She is, and she cries alone.